Welcome, folks. Okay, I'm back with another historical background video of this Bigfoot-Sasquatch, the elusive Bigfoot-Sasquatch, these beings, creatures that we share our planet with, but for some unknown reason are being hidden from us, from the powers that be. But yeah, it's important to see the historical background. So anyone getting into the subject, it will be of interest, or anyone already involved, just like me. Once you get into this subject, as you all know, it's hard to forget about it. So okay, I'll quit my blabbering and I'll get on with this. So Bigfoot, giant hominid of western North America. By extension, this term is also applied to similar hominids observed elsewhere. Named in 1958 when a series of huge tracks was found near Bluff Creek in Northern California. Coined by newspaper columnist Andrew Gensoli in the Humboldt Times, October 5th, 1958. Plural is usually Bigfoot, sometimes Big Feet. Scientific names: Paranthropus elderelli, proposed by Gordon R. Strasenberg Jr. in 1971. Gigantopithecus candenus, all proposed by Grover Krantz in 1985. Variant names: Jacko. Actually, Jacko that's another story I will do, another account story, which is actually a young creature that was supposedly caught, a young Sasquatch, and I'll do a story on that. It's interesting. So other names: Mata, Kagmi, Mountain Devil, Sasquatch, of course, Tanuka, Cannibal Giant. That's another interesting one. Physical description: bulky, robust body, height 6 to 9 feet, with an average of 7 feet 10 inches. Average weight estimated at 660 pounds. Shaggy body hair, ranging from dark brown or black to light brown and grey. Color variation does not seem related to height or age. Small pointed head, sloping forehead. Flat face. Heavy brow ridge with upcurled fringe of hair. Facial hair except around nose, mouth, and ears. Deep set eyes. Broad and flat nose. Wide mouth. Short, thick neck. Huge shoulders and chest. Females have large, hairy breasts. Arms are thick and long in proportion to height. Behavior: primarily nocturnal. Walks upright with a long stride and long arm swing, leaning forward slightly with its knees bent. Not afraid of walking in water, perhaps even using waterways as travel paths. Top running speed may be as much as 35 to 40 miles per hour. Inactive in cold weather. Solitary, though family groups have occasionally been reported. Calls are high-pitched whistles, screams and howls, including eek, 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 suka, 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 gobba, gooba, ooh, 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 and ooah, ooah, ooah. A strong, putrid odor often reported. Omnivorous: rodents, deer, roots, larvae, carrion, berries, grasses, clams, fishes, and vegetables. I'll just butt in here and say, everything that's been said here, if you listen to all the account stories, that's where you'll get all your information. If you listen to people's account stories, all this that's being said here is in these stories. About roots, indeed, roots, and etc., etc. Okay, I'll continue. Searches for rodents by digging up rocks and piling them up. Splits rotting logs in search of grubs. May also pursue and kill deer. Kidnappings of humans, usually females, have been reported. Sometimes throws rocks at people. We've heard that before. Shows curiosity about human activity, hence them looking in the windows, as we've all heard about. No apparent use of fire or tools. The population in the Pacific Northwest has been estimated as 1,500 to 2,000 adult individuals. How they know that, I have no idea. Guesstimate. Tracks: five-toed human prints 4 to 27 inches long with an average length of 14 to 18 inches. The width ranges from 3 to 13.5 inches at the ball of the foot with an average of 7.2 inches. Heels are 1.5 to 9 inches wide with an average of 4.8 inches. Toes are slightly curled and in a straight line like peas in a pod. Big toe is not appreciably larger than or separated from the others. A substantial ridge of soil or sand separates the toes from the ball of the foot. The foot is narrow in the middle, sometimes described as an hourglass shape, and the impression of the heel is deeper in the inner rather than the outer side. Flat arches. Transverse midsole dermal ridges. Dermatoglyph, physics, that's a difficult word, and sweat pores often present. Stride measures 4 to 6 feet. Tracks point straight ahead, with feet turning neither inward nor outward. Tracks are found in remote areas, and the movements indicated by the tracks, meandering, zigzagging, are typical for a wild animal. The morphology of the tracks, including small details, is uniform enough over a wide geographic area to suggest authenticity. Feces and hair samples have also been recovered. Habitat: montane forests. Distribution: from northern California, Oregon, Washington and Idaho north through British Columbia and southwestern Alberta to Alaska. Now it's interesting, folks, since this book that I'm reading from was published, and with the advent of the internet and the podcasts, we all know that the Bigfoot are all over the United States and Canada, Texas, everywhere, South America, Brazil, everywhere, Central America. Significant sightings. In the fall of 1869, a hunter saw a male and female Bigfoot near Oresteinbach Creek in Stanislaus County, California. The male was covered with dark brown and cinnamon hair, stood 5 feet tall, made whistling noises, and disrupted the hunter's campfire. When the steamer Capilano put into an Indian village at Bishop's Cove, British Columbia in March 1907, the crew was assailed by terrorized villagers who wanted to escape from a 5-foot-tall monkey covered with long hair that came on the beach at night to dig clams and howl. A group of miners claimed to have taken a shot at a huge ape-like creature near a mine in a canyon on the east side of Mount St. Helens, Washington, in July 1924. Later, one of them, named Fred Beck, shot another ape in the back 3 times, causing it to fall off a cliff. At night, a group of apes assaulted the miners in their cabin for 5 hours, pounding on the walls and hurling rocks. The cabin had no windows, so the miners couldn't see what was attacking them. The next day, they packed up and returned to Kelso and told their story. Large tracks were found in the canyon, which was thereafter named Ape Canyon. I'll just say something about that, and it actually mirrors other encounter stories. A 1,000-pound Sasquatch, it could rip a cabin, the walls of the cabin, with one hand. And also people, they report, the Sasquatch coming up to their houses at night, looking in the windows, scratching the windows. They could rip doors off, but it's very rarely ever reported that they break into places. I just always thought that was strange. Okay, I'll continue. Prospector Albert Otzman claimed he was kidnapped in the summer of 1924 near Toba Inlet. British Columbia, and lived 6 days with a Bigfoot family consisting of an older male and female and 2 younger ones, also male and female. The adult male was between 7 and 8 feet tall and had carried Osman in a sleeping bag for 3 hours to a remote valley. Osman tried to escape, but the old male blocked his way. While he was there, Osman made many observations about their lifestyle and habits. He finally tricked the adult male into swallowing the contents of his snuff tin, and in the ensuing confusion, he made his escape back to the coast. In October 1941, Jeannie Chapman and her 3 young children fled from a Bigfoot that had came toward their isolated cabin near Ruby Creek, British Columbia. Later, 16-inch human-like footprints were found circling the house. The creature had apparently entered a woodshed and opened up a 55-gallon barrel of saltfish. William Rowe was climbing Mika Mountain southwest of Tichiwuna-Cache, British Columbia in October 1955 when he saw what he at first thought was a grizzly bear about 75 yards away. Soon he realized it was a huge female, 6 feet tall and 3 feet wide, completely covered with brown hair, silver-tipped hair. Its arms reached almost to its knees, and it had breasts. It squatted down to eat the leaves from some bushes, but when it saw him, it stood up and walked away cautiously. Rowe leveled his rifle to shoot it, but thought it was too human-looking to kill. Gerald Crew and others found large numbers of giant tracks around their road construction camp in high country near Willow Creek, California, several times between August 1958 and February 1959. The tracks descended an incline of 75 degrees, and the average stride was more than 4 feet. Occasionally, the track maker would disturb heavy fuel drums and steel culverts, and once it moved a 700-pound wheel belonging to an earth-moving equipment. Recently, some doubt has been cast on these events. It's been alleged that the footprints were hoaxed by the construction crew contractor and foreman Ray and Wilbur Wallace. However, the Wallaces had difficulty keeping contract workers because the tracks terrified the crew. On October 20, 1967, Roger Patterson and Bob Gilman took 952 frames of 16mm film showing a female Bigfoot walking away from them near Bluff Creek, California. Numerous 18-inch tracks of a Bigfoot with an anatomically accurate clubfoot deformity in its right foot were found near Bosport, Washington in October 1969. Joe Medeiros and Dick Brown saw an 8 to 9 foot Bigfoot standing under an oak tree at a trailer park near the Dalles, Oregon on June 2, 1971. Brown observed it through a telescopic rifle sight and said there was a crest on its head. It had muscular shoulders and walked with an exaggerated swinging of its arms. The next day, a 20-inch long trap was found in the crushed grass